Hello, welcome back to the Tarot Cottage. My name is Amy. I'm back today with a pick a card reading for you. Big welcome back to my beautiful returning subscribers. Thank you guys so much for being here. A big thank you to everyone who is offering support to each other in the comment section. That's really what my goal was for this channel. In the beginning of this channel was to create a beautiful inclusive space, and you guys are helping me do that. So thank you guys so much for being a part of each other's journey and for being a part of my journey. Thank you for your friendship and your presence here on this channel. I really appreciate you. If you have stumbled across this channel for the very first time, I do pick a card readings here. I would love to have you join us though. Join our beautiful soul family by subscribing to the channel, hitting your notification bell, your like button. I also offer an opportunity for my subscribers to win a free tarot reading from me. I draw a name a week. And I will be drawing that name again for next week shortly. So please be sure to drop your comment below, hit your notification bell and your like button so that I can enter you in for a chance to win and then notify you if you are chosen the winner. But for today's pick a card, please pull up a chair and get cozy. We're going to have a little chat today. Today's pick a card reading is about the person on your mind that you have been really focused upon for a really long time. We're going to ask Spirit the question today, whether or not you're going to be together, will you have a relationship, or should you move on from this connection? We have 3 piles to choose from today. We have pile number 1 here with the blue aragonite. We have pile number 2 with the red carnelian palm. And we have pile number 3 with the hematite. I am going to be jumping right into pile number 1 today. My timestamps are listed below as well. Again, today's topic is all about the person that you've been thinking about for a while, the person that you've been really focused upon and really wanting to be in a connection with. We're going to ask Spirit about the future of that connection. Will you be together, or should you spend your time focusing on other pursuits? Should you move on from this connection? Pile number 1. Hello, pile 1, you were drawn to the blue aragonite, or perhaps to the wild unknown tarot, and this is your reading. The connection on your mind, will you be together, or should you move on from this connection? Will pile 1 be with the person that is on their mind, or should they move on from this connection? We're going to start with a little bit of a feeler for the emotions between the two of you. So what's happening currently in the connection as it stands. We're going to start there. Then we're going to move into the outcome and some advice from Spirit. So let's take a look at what's currently happening in this connection for pile number 1, please. We have the Strength. And you can see that the Leo energy there is really holding on to that white rose of hope. And so you're perhaps coming into this reading with a lot of hope in your heart, hoping that there is potential. You've been perhaps foraging this strength for some time. We have the 9 of Cups. What is happening in this connection as it stands, please? What is currently happening? The Page of Swords. Now, this could be a crushed situation, or a situation where you're watching this person in some way. It's like there's a lot of desires and hopes surrounding this person because it's like they seem far away from you, or they seem like they're out of reach, so to speak, in some way. So you could be watching them online, for instance, or watching them from afar in the environment of which you know them. You have the Wheel of Fortune. And this Wheel of Fortune, you could be an air sign, you could be an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra potentially, because as you look up here, the same owl sort of sitting up here on top of the wheel, and all of these strings, they're all colored like the rainbow, talking about the full spectrum, the confusion perhaps between the two of you, or what's going to happen next. And the wheel seems to be all wrapped up. It's like it can't possibly move because it's too tangled up. So it feels kind of stuck. So the connection itself, the movement seems a little bit stagnated. But you still feel a deep connection to this person, which is what's allowing you to hold that force and hold the strength towards this desire. And there's the Hanged Man. Back of the deck is the High Priestess, and we have the 7 of Wands. Now, your High Priestess is coming forward here, talking about how you sometimes don't talk about this person, perhaps, or maybe they don't talk about you. There's this aspect of keeping this feeling to myself. It's like I sit upon the truth of this connection. I sit upon the fact that this is in stagnation, but I feel really connected. And there are obstacles here, but they may not be insurmountable. Like you may be able to see solutions. They may be, some of them may be difficult solutions, but you are perhaps even able to see some of the necessary steps that have to be taken in order to create change here. The Hanged Man is all about surrender in this case. There's this aspect of feeling stuck, but not wanting to let that stuckness stop me. I feel like there could be perhaps potentially a no contact here for someone watching, maybe not for everyone, because there's this aspect of the bat being kind of going off of sonar, you know, having to go off of vibration in order to better their situation. So it's like you feel that connection, and that's what's allowing you to keep the hope alive here. We have the Queen of Swords. Will they be together, Spirit? Will pile 1 be with their person? What is the future of this connection? We have the Knight of Pentacles. And I feel like you may have really been focused on this person for a really long time. Maybe longer than would feel comfortable. Very strong air element to the Divine Feminine here. You have the 8 of Cups. Some of the obstacles in this situation could be very practical in nature, and we need to take that as it resonates to our situation, because I'm dealing with collective energy here today. But there's this aspect of like, I put myself in the position of stuckness, or someone in this connection put themselves willingly into the position that created the obstacles. There could be third party here. There's just a lot of disappointment with the 3 of Swords overall, but it can indicate the reason for the stuckness is other situations, other people involved. And that's really encouraging us to sort of rely on our strength too, because the obstacles may be very obvious to us. There's a sense of temptation surrounding this. And again, we're pretty aware of the effort we have to take in order to move into abundant cycle here. And we have the Hanged Man. With the Hanged Man, back of the deck, we have the Chariot. And we do have the 5 of Wands. There's a feeling of jealousy that circulates this connection as well. There's this feeling of not being able to get what I want, being stuck on this side of the hurdle, not being able to have what I want for a very long time. And it's sort of breeding all of this almost ego-driven attachment to the connection itself. And as we move into the future here, we do see some stagnation. You know, not even some stagnation, we see stagnation. I want to clarify that as we go forward here. Because it seems to be this long, lengthy period of time where you're being asked to wait, or where you're feeling the pull to take certain steps in order to create clearance, to create the outcome that you really want with this person. And the Hierophant. We have the 6 of Swords. We have the World. Back of the deck is the 10 of Wands and the Hermit. And then we have the Death energy. Now here's the thing, is that Spirit does see momentum for the future of this connection if somebody takes action. There is an emphasis on the Divine Feminine here, on the Queen of Swords, really making clearances possible on her end of things. It's like if there are obstacles in the way of the practical nature, jobs, home, other situations, other relationships, for instance, we have to make clearances if we want to see growth. And so this is not going to naturally flow into a relationship until somebody takes action to move themselves out of an unfulfilling situation and give in to the temptation here. So this won't not automatically flow into a relationship unless somebody actually makes that happen. And because that's not the automatic outcome here, Spirit says we have a decision that we have to make, and your higher self is truly at the charge of that choice. You know, she's being pulled emotionally in different directions, but it's going to take a lot of bravery for us to choose with our heart scope and to actually choose the direction we want in this case. And that's going to be a challenge. It's not insurmountable, but it's going to be a challenge that we're going to have to take on. We can't put our expectations on other people, And so there's an emphasis on us taking action in any way that we can to create clearance here if we feel like we're capable of it. And so there's a big important decision that we have to make about, do we have the confidence to power through and actually create the change, to create the reunions, to push through all of the obstacles. Spirit says that there's going to be a hesitation from both parties to do so in the future of this connection. The Hierophant can talk about institutions like education, government, marriage getting in the way and leading us to not be able to commit. And so now comes in the advice component of your reading coming in from your guides and angels, because Spirit says if nothing changes, then nothing changes, and they do suggest moving forward. Because if we are critically honest with ourselves and we're unwilling to create change, or if we are willing to create change, but we observe that the other energy cannot, then we have no choice but then to move ourselves into a more fulfilling cycle, because we deserve that fulfillment. We deserve to actually experience the 9 of Cups. In fact, we deserve the 10 of Cups. Sometimes even the 9 it falls too short of the satisfaction that we deserve. And so Spirit wants us to be honest with ourselves during this reflection about what it is that we're receiving in the present, whether or not we're able to create clearances if there are obstacles in our way, and whether or not the other person will have the ability to be vulnerable in return, because it's going to take vulnerability to move into a positive cycle here. So Spirit is indicating that if we were honest with ourselves, we may want to move. We may want movement in this situation if we want to experience the satisfaction that we deserve in this connection, or overall, just overall. Should they move on, or should they wait for this situation to open up? And they are indicating here, it says, you know what's best for you. Sometimes when we start with the High Priestess as the backup deck, it really indicates that this reading may not bring information that you don't already have in your arsenal to draw from. You already sort of have a lot of this information in your wheelhouse. We just have to have it reframed in a way that we're able to acknowledge and adopt. Because they say that there's this acknowledgement of what I'm receiving in the present as it not being good enough. And it may have turned into a bit of a lesson for us now to carry with us into the future and into the unknown. It says here, have a backup plan. And we ended with the Hanged Man, and here's the Possum. And I've talked about the Possum before, about being this animal that's seen as a manipulation. It's seen as an animal that will play dead if it kind of falls into danger. And so you may be looking at the lack of action from the person on your mind, and they may be looking at your lack of action as some sort of testament of faith or testament of desire. But the truth is that it all boils down to fear. The possum faints because it's so scared. And so they're asking you to have a backup plan when it comes to this objective, comes to this focus and this dream that you have, because it feels like a wishful energy that you're really holding over this connection. And they say that it may not move, because if nothing seems to be moving, it's in this stagnation period, and that doesn't seem to be shifting in the future. Now, some of this information can be utilized by you to create certain clearances on your end, of course, but they are encouraging you to have a backup plan here and to potentially move on from this connection at this time. Back of the deck says, accept the follies and find the teaching in them. And the Page of Swords is the student of the deck. You know, he gathers all the lessons that this 3D experience offers us, and he takes it back up to source. And so it's not about you feeling silly or you beating yourself up for holding on to this connection, especially if you've held on for a while. There's a reason and season for everything. And they want you to have more compassion towards yourself and instead step away from the emotional attachment and see the lesson that this whole situation has afforded you at this time. But they are encouraging now that if there's no actions that you can take to create change, for you to have a backup plan and surrender to the unknown, surrender to an emotional new beginning. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 1. Advice for pile 1 in the bowl. The Empress, the 7 of Wands, and the 9 of Wands. There's an emphasis here on even towers falling, or it's like there's an emphasis on 16 on towers falling, and so there is an emphasis too on that 10 of Pentacles, on other foundations, and so there's just a fear of permanent change, a fear of upheaval. There is also indicating in the Bull here, though, that you perhaps not being ready to move on yet. You're still holding force. You're still sort of reflecting upon the challenges and what, obstacles are in the way, and how much force you're going to have to apply on your end to create the clearances, so that you're not ready perhaps to take Spirit's advice today, but that's okay, because it's just here for your benefit. The advice that comes in from the tarot reading is here to help you make discernible decisions about these attachments, and ultimately your guides are going to follow you down whatever path you choose, and they're going to do it lovingly, with support and with help to draw upon any lessons that you can experience down those paths of decision. They feel that there's like this sense of soulmate attachment. It's like we've applied this idea that this is our person. We have wish, and it's coming, it says wishes do come true. These are coming out in the reversal. Both the wish and the charm wish is coming out in the reversal. And there's this 9 of Cups in the upright, because this feels like a very strong wish or desire or crush situation. And there's a feeling of like a lack of movement. It's like things are not happening as quickly as we want them to. We have Scorpio, and we have a connection written in the stars. So you were meant to cross paths with this person. They definitely needed some of these lessons. Your soul contract required them. We have the white shirt with the red heart. I think of the heart space, the heart chakra, the sacral chakra. We have the tree of life. I think of families. We have a guitar in the bowl, and we have the gecko. I think of the King of Wands. I think of Sagittarius energy. I also think of protection and fire. And we have a little forget-me-not in the bowl. I also think of the Ontario Trillium with that little flower as well. All right, Pile 1, that's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, please drop your comment below so that I can enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. Check out my other links below as well for Etsy for a personal reading or for Instagram. But I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I hope that you come back and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage. Hello, Pile number 2. You were drawn to the red carnelian palm. Or to the Joie de Vivre Tarot, and this is your reading. Sorry, my chair is a little squeaky today. Will you be together, or should you move on from this connection? So will you actually move into a relationship with this person? Will you be together, or should you move forward? So let's get a little feel for what's going on currently in the connection first. So what is happening currently in this connection for Pile 2? What is the current state of affairs for Pile 2 and the connection on their mind? So we have the Knight of Coins. You have the 6 of Swords. What is currently happening in this connection, please? The 2 of Swords. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of movement in the present with the 2 of Swords. Things are very passive. There's an inability to commit. We're feeling stuck. We may not be stuck, but it's like we're feeling stuck. We may be waiting for some sort of closure, waiting for some sort of communication to come in some way, to help clear out clutter, to help clear up confusion. And there's definitely this inability to move forward from this point. It's like we've been waiting for a long time, perhaps, for something to shift or change here. We have the Justice. We have the World coming out together. Just saw the 9 of Swords. And we also have the 8 of Swords in the reverse. Back of the deck is the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Wands. Now, the 8 of Swords is reversed, which means there are solutions to all of the upheaval that we're feeling in this moment. There is this feeling of opportunity. It's like we're not without opportunity, perhaps, but it's going to take a leap of faith with the World energy. So let's clarify this. It feels like not a lot is happening in the present moment. But we have the 4 of Wands, so you may feel almost like this is like a twin flame situation, really wanting expansion, really hoping for expansion, and keeping, it's like that's your objective. It's like you want expansion. We have the Temperance. And we have the Emperor Taurus. It almost feels like the Emperor is making plans in the present as well. We have the 10 of Swords. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. Back of the deck is the Page of Wands, and we have the 8 of Wands here on the back of the deck with the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Wands here is this explorative energy of curiosity, and look what's chasing the page down the road. It's the devil. The devil is chasing the page down the road at this time. And so there's this aspect of opportunities in this connection. It's like we could take action if we wanted to in the present, but we're really insecure and overthinking and worried about doing that. We're worried about the consequences perhaps to our position if we take advantage of that. And here, even with the Ten of Swords, and I want to get a clarifying card for that, because the Ten of Swords is devastation. You know, it's the ending of things, and this is in the present. And that could be the reason it's supporting the Two of Swords. So an inability to commit because we might have to end something that the ego has become really transfixed by, or the ego has really spent a lot of time applying force towards or investing in some way. And so there's this acknowledgement that the delay was necessary, or it's like now is not the time, or the delay, it's like now it's passive because it has to be passive because of other commitments, because of other responsibilities, or just because of lack of effort in this moment. But it's not without opportunity. I feel like there could be a work connection here potentially for some, not for all, but for some there could be a work connection. But position seems to be a big issue when it comes to this connection. You have the Magician reversed. The Nine of Wands. And we have the Eight of Swords. Back of the deck is the Seven of Wands and the Queen of Swords. And so with all of this stagnation, the present moment is like a flower garden. It's the flower bed that we plant our seeds in for the next moment, for that the moment that bleeds into the next and into the next, which creates the future for us. And because we're dealing with such stagnation here with the Two of Swords and the Ten of Swords in the present moment, we don't have a lot of positive energy to plant towards success in the future of this connection. And so there is a call for action here. It's like there's opportunity, but there's also obstacles. And so there's this call about all of the potential and whether or not we're going to waste that potential. Because as we move into the future, the Eight of Swords, it sort of is reminiscent of the fact that this Two of Swords and the Six of Swords combined is that Eight of Swords. And now it's in the reverse, which means that we can, and here's the Eight of Swords again, because we aren't stuck. We're not stuck. It's just in a mental prison that we feel is holding us back, that is keeping our mindset focused here. And so even though there is the ability to create clearance here, Spirit says there may not be an opportunity for the two of you to be together because they don't see that effort being applied from both parties involved. And so now the Queen of Swords here, you know, she has to move into an observant position. And here's the Three of Swords. She needs to declare herself. She needs to lead by example. She needs to observe and choose if she's going to actually participate here. And she's not afraid to cut people, places, and things out of her life. You can see here with the Three of Wands, even with the Three of Wands and the Eight of Wands, they've broken free of the attachment. They are breaking out. They're transitioning because they deserve that freedom, because that's where expansion lies. That's where the lessons lie. That's where the emotional starts lie. And there's the Four of Wands in the reverse. You know, there's this aspect that if we enter into it now, it could create arguments and conflicts and foreclosures in the home. And so Spirit doesn't see this moving into a relationship cycle. It's not that there is an opportunity. There's opportunity. But they do see the necessity for perhaps the Divine Feminine, the Queen of Swords, to break free and to transition. But they're not saying it in a very sad way. It's not like it's like you're a slingshot. It's like you're this burst of energy. The momentum that you show when you finally release will be a little bit stinging. It's kind of like ripping a Band-Aid off with the Ten of Swords. It hurts when we're asked to let go. But when we are allowed to let go, when we give ourselves the permission, we get to experience more fulfillment in the future situations. We get to experience more truths, more clearance, more clarity that this situation seems to be stealing from us at this time. Advice, please, for pile number 2. Should they wait or move on from this connection? We have here, your creativity is at its peak. The rabbit, it's coming in the reversal, the fertility. And the rabbit is the Page of Wands for me. We have the page here. But the page is being chased by the insecurities, being chased by attachments. The devil can talk about things that are holding us back, that are no longer good for us, but that we're really stuck with. And there's this aspect about not being ready. I just saw the Follow Your Passion card. But it's going to have to take you out on a limb. And so we have let go of control. The Follow Your Passion card actually flipped over too. Because it's like you've been retreating, or someone's been retreating in this connection, but they're going to have to take that leap of faith. That's why the world is here. It's not that there is an opportunity, but we have to get through our own positions first. And so we're going to have to claim our independence in order to have more opportunity. But that's only one side of the coin. We can only control our side of things. We can't control their side of things. And so there is a lot of potential, but it may get stagnated, it may get wasted in the future. And so unless somebody goes out on a limb to create change, Spirit says it's time to surrender, to let go of control, to surrender to see what's going to be revealed to you in the future, to surrender to the transition that they're asking you for with the 8 of Wands. And back of the deck says empathy, speak less and listen more. So they're asking for you to listen to the notes of intuition, because we're clouding ourselves with all of these thoughts towards this person. We're clouding our thought process with all of these desires for clarity, for closure, for more. And so they are encouraging you at this time, pile 2, to allow yourself the freedom to transition unless you feel like there is actions you can take in the present moment to create change. But they don't see, even though there are solutions and opportunity, they still see a holding force and hesitation in the future of this connection. So let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 2. Advice for pile number 2 in the bowl today, please. Missed the bowl. The Taurus energy of the Emperor. We have the 10 of Wands reversed. We have the 10 of Cups reversed. And so the 10 of Cups can sometimes in the reversal really speak about foreclosures and loneliness and issues within the home. And there's something that this Emperor is protecting. It could be that 10 of Cups energy. So there could be family here, children, for instance. And so the advice from Spirit for you is to lighten your load. This is not your burden to carry. You can't take upon more of your burden than is necessary, or their burden. You can't take it upon yourself. And so they're encouraging you to let those wands go, to release them, to lighten your load so that you have the freedom to explore and the freedom to enjoy the unknown and the future. Oops, we got lots of letters in the bowl today for you. We have G and H and V. We have ING, we have A. And I think about verbs and action words with the ing. So I think about, it's like a lack of action because it's reversed, the passive energy. And so now we're being encouraged to explore other possibilities and to make sort of lemonades out of lemon. We have cool reverse. We also have the moon with the star. So asking us to follow our intuition into a healing cycle at this time. We also have attraction with the lipstick. Oops. All right, pile number 2. That's what I have for you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story in the comments section, and I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell, your like button, helps me to bring you guys more content, and then I'll be able to enter you in for a chance to win a free reading with me. You can also check out my links below for Etsy for a personal reading and for Instagram, but I hope that you come back and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope you have a great day. Hello, pile number 3. You were drawn to the Hematite, or to the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, and this is your reading. Should you move on from this connection, or will the two of you be together in the future? So will you be together, or should you move on? Is it time to move on from this connection? So let's take a look at what's currently going on in the connection itself before we move on to the future and advice from Spirit. So let's take a look here. What is happening for pile 3 and their person and this connection at this time, please? 8 of Cups. The 2 of Cups. High Priestess. This could have been a relationship that sort of fizzled out or something. There could have been a relationship that we walked away from. And there may be this desire to sort of have a resurgence in this connection. And that's not for everyone, but I am dealing with collective energy. We have the Two of Swords. Back of the deck is the Lover's energy. And we have the Six of Pentacles. Now there's a reference here and there's a focus on communication. I'm just trying to get a different deck for clarity purposes. There's an emphasis on communication here. So you may have the opportunity to get into a communication cycle with this person, but there's also this sense of attachment. The Lovers, there's so much connection with the Lovers. It's someone who wants to be in a relationship. It's like you feel connected to this person. You feel like this is your person. And then there's like this decision to be made between perhaps a lover's energy and a karmic situation. Because in the present of this connection, it's like we're not being 100% honest. It's like we're hiding the truth. And there could be, perhaps for someone here, an inability to actually move into a commitment cycle. So even in the future position, we have the Two of Swords. And so there's this aspect of like, if we want to move into a relationship cycle, we have to do something about the clearances. We have to do something about these practical concerns. We have to get things back into balance. I do feel like you both wish to be in a relationship, though, in the present. We have the Moon. And it feels like somebody knows that they have to walk away, or someone may have walked away here. They may have to walk away in order to come into union in this connection. And there's definitely masks being worn, Spirit says. And we also have the Chariot here, and we have the Five of Wands in the reverse position, along with the Five of Pentacles. It feels like a very complicated situation. It feels like a very complicated connection, and it's filled with decision making. And it does feel like it has a choice between people or situations, or like, it does feel like it's between people, to be honest. So take that as it resonates to your situation. If it doesn't resonate with you, you can try a different pile or a different reading. But there is an aspect of having to make a decision and a choice. And we're being pulled in different directions emotionally, and it's messing with our logic. And it has to do with competition and karmic relationships and the necessity to close out old chapters in order to start a brand new foundation. And so there are a lot of extreme obstacles here that need to be addressed. And there's kind of like an elephant in the room that we need to get around in order to create change here. There is an emphasis with the Eight of Cups on feeling emotionally unfulfilled in whatever position we're sitting in the present, not feeling happy there. And we come to know the truth by the way that it feels. And that is the intuition urging us to walk away, because that could be where our empowerment lies. That could be what allows us to move into a very fulfilling cycle in this connection. But we're holding back because of that fear, or someone in this connection is holding back. It could be both of you holding back because of fear at this time. And it's like we're afraid to hurt other people. It's like we're afraid it's like we're going to have to step on other people and hurt other people. There is even an aspect of children here. So children could be a factor in the connection in some way, perhaps not together, but in some way. It's like we're afraid of hurting other people in order to get what we want. And I don't feel like you're the type that does prioritize yourself traditionally either. And so it's not without its complications. It's not without its choices or its decisions. What does the future of this connection hold, though, please, for pile number 3? And the Eight of Wands here is talking about things taking off in this connection, which is possible, but you see the scythe in her hand connected to the death energy. This death movement is necessary in order for things to take off in your connection. But the problem is that this Eight of Wands is just a support to the Two of Swords, and there's a lot of passive energy surrounding the Two of Swords. It's like our emotion is pulling us to take action, but we're turning our back on that water. We're turning our back on the emotion because we're afraid of what that means. We're afraid of the consequences. You can see her, she's guarding her heart space. She's got blinders on. She's keeping a mask on. Because it's easier for us to hope for solutions to come to us than for us to create the solutions that we know we have to create. And so we have the Four of Swords. So what is the future of this connection, please, Spirit? Will they be together? There's been an emphasis on the Queen of Swords and on Gemini actually all morning. So take that as it resonates. You could be an air sign. Will they be together, please? We have the Judgment. Back of the deck is the King of Swords reversed, and we have the Four of Cups. The problem here is that even if one person was willing to take the necessary steps, the Divine Masculine may not be willing to do the same thing. They're feeling helpless. One side of this connection is feeling helpless. The other side perhaps can draw upon their logic, can draw upon their intuition to make a critical decision, to create clearances, to create growth. I feel like the Divine Feminine here is willing to take certain steps towards advancement, but the other side of this connection feels helpless. And you know, when we feel helpless, it's not the truth, it's just a temporary emotion, but oftentimes we will make permanent decisions based on those types of temporary emotions. And if we feel helpless, it becomes our gospel because we don't apply any force to that feeling. Because if we think it's impossible, it becomes our gospel, it becomes the truth. And so the Divine Masculine may not be as willing to create change here. And so now there is this Judgment energy. It's a call of reflection for the Queen of Swords to reflect upon the imbalances that this connection is creating. And they also want you to kind of follow the trigger. If you're feeling unsatisfied in your current realm, they want you to follow that trigger of dissatisfaction to the source. It may not be your current realm that is the actual trigger. It may be something within you that needs readjustment. And so there is a bit of a reality that pierces through the outcome or the future outcome in this situation, along with this Four of Swords, because it asks us for healing energy. It asks us to take a pause before action. And it does emphasize some of the disappointment that we're experiencing and the truth of the situation that we have to navigate around at this time. And so they don't see this naturally flowing into union. Not that it doesn't have the opportunity or it doesn't have the capability to move into union. It's just difficult. It's just challenging. But we forge strength through those challenges. And with a connection as deeply entrenched as this, oftentimes they're worth the steps we're guided to take to create change. But we don't see this moving into a brand new beginning without a little bit of help at this time. So let's get some advice from your spirit guides, from your spirit team about the connection itself. Should they wait? Should they move on from this connection for pile number 3, please? With the Eight of Swords reversed, they want you to break free. Keep hearing that song, I want to break free. The Eight of Swords, you know, reverse especially, it's like we can just take our masks off and just walk away. And there's the Eight of Cups. So they are encouraging you to move forward at this time. They are also indicating that this is a challenge, that this is something you're going to have to master, you know, you're going to have to put effort into. But they also want you to know that you deserve a fulfilling situation. And that's why they do want you to prioritize why you're feeling so dissatisfied in your current realm to begin with, because there's a trigger there. There's a lesson waiting for you in that reflection. But they're encouraging you to move forward at this time from any realm that is dissatisfying, not just this attachment to this person, but and this connection, but even in the current placement. If you're in a situation that you're not happy in, they want you to break free from that as well. Because that's where true clarity is waiting for you. It's on the other side of that, because you're too close to that situation at this time and it's burdening you. And so here's the Death energy. And they're saying it's not really a fair situation. The Death is all about transitions, reality, grief. This is also indicating perhaps the necessary steps to actually create change in this connection overall, but they don't see that seamlessly flowing into that resolve or into that new beginning. And so there is perhaps the end of this situation being called for from your spirit guides at this time. Let's get some advice, please, for pile number 3. We have here, adapt to the changes that are happening. And that's the thing, that's all about adaptation, about being willing to face change. And oftentimes that's the hurdle that stops us from moving, stops us from taking necessary steps, stops us from being honest with ourselves and other people, is that we fear like we don't have the ability to adapt. But that's why there's an emphasis on the Queen of Swords and how intelligent you are and how smart you are and how you can use that intelligence to your benefit at this time. Because the Lovers is able to look at things from all different angles to make their choice. And so when we're honest with ourselves during that reflection, it's hard for us to not see the space between the trees. It's hard for us not to see the solutions, and it's hard for us not to see the outcome. You have here, trust in your higher self to guide you through this situation. And right in the center of your reading is your higher self. She is the one who's trying to encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone and take leaps of faith in areas of your life that you're feeling dissatisfied, and break free from all areas that are holding you back, including this attachment if you feel like during that reflection that it's holding you back too. Because they want you to experience more joy, and they want you to ask yourself the question if you're actually experiencing joy in the present moment at this time. Because it's time to clear out the clutter. Your higher self, the frog purification spirit, is asking you to clear out the clutter. They also, again, there's an emphasis in your spread with the Lovers and the Chariot on decisions. It says make a decision and take appropriate action. There could be decisions between people that you have to actually apply. There could be decisions regarding this connection. And the other person could have decisions between people that have to be applied here first. So they want you to know that this information is for you to make a discernible decision, but they will lovingly walk down whatever path you choose to take in life and love. We have make a decision and take appropriate action with decisiveness on the back of the deck. Let's get a charm bowl, please, for pile number 3. Charm bowl for pile 3, please. We have the Knight of Swords. I have one on the floor that fell. Mind my squeaky chair. Page of Swords reversed. There's somebody here that's afraid of legal issues. So there could be marriages in place. There's an aspect of I'm afraid of taking on a legal battle. I'm afraid of taking on too much that I can't handle, making decisions that I can't go back from. It's like this feeling of like it's too late for me to have this connection, because if I do, I'm going to have to face a battle. But Spirit just wants us to choose our hard. They want you to know that everything is hard in some aspect. You know, if you choose to walk away from an unfulfilling environment, that's hard, but staying in that environment is also hard. We also have the Empress. There's an aspect too of this connection being sort of a trigger. It's like a prompt for healing, this connection being a prompt for healing. So you may feel like it's like a twin flame energy, and it may be the exact prompt that you need in order to move yourself out of an unfulfilling cycle at this moment in time, because Spirit won't let any sort of connection go to waste here. They just say that the Divine Feminine is not feeling fulfilled in her position. She's not feeling in her element. There's an emphasis on motherhood again here, and so that could, and there's an emphasis on children even with the Page of Swords reverse. And so that could be a factor in the decision-making process as well. Spirit does want you to know that you lead by example, and your priority of your happiness is a really important example to set for other people under your care. We have in the bowl today the letters A and P and R and J. We have the Tree of Life. I think about family units. I think about relationships. We have the Iron, needing to iron things out. I think of domestic energies and a wrench in our plan. We have me versus me. We have the Surrender with the Seahorse, and we have Full. There is an aspect of not really feeling a lot of gratitude in the present moment. We also have a little Barbie car, or not Barbie car, a Barbie guitar. So little girls could be a factor in your life as well. All right, pile number 3, that's what I have for you today. Hope that it resonates with you. If it did, I would love to hear your story below in the comments section so we can get words of encouragement back to you. I would love for you to subscribe to the channel, hit your notification bell and your like button. It helps me to bring you guys more content. But ultimately, I just hope that you guys come back and visit me on another day at the Tarot Cottage, and I hope that you have a great day.